corporate media would ignore the March for Medicare for All rallies and events that took place in over 50 cities all across the United States this past Saturday, obviously with the intent of trying to put some pressure on the politicians who actually, who claim to support Medicare for All to actually do something to get people health care again, because tens of thousands of people die each year in the US because they don't have health care. We have medical bankruptcy. Like, how is that even a fucking thing? And we couldn't even get, people to really push or advocate for it during a pandemic. We saw the complete failure of, so-called progressive members in Congress to force Nancy Pelosi to bring Medicare for All for a floor vote. So again, the corporate media silence about all these events taking place, not super surprising, but then you have these pseudo-leftists, the synthetic left, we could call them, because they're really horrible on foreign policy, and it seems like they don't actually like, pushing the, squad or other so-called, progressive members of Congress to actually get them to do to get them to actually fight for the things that they claim to support, like Medicare for All. So, case in point, Emma Vigeland, co-host of the Majority Report, there's no understanding of how goals are achieved historically, because these folks, so she's talking about people there was a protest earlier today outside AOC's office in New York, because her silence, frankly, has been, pretty deafening on this. She has a huge fucking platform, 10 million people. Tweet about it, say that you're in support, you're in solidarity with the people, but you'll be attending this event to get, Nina Turner elected for Congress in that, Ohio district that she's running in. I mean, would that have been that fucking hard? But no, somehow trying to criticize AOC for, again, dropping the ball on pushing this issue forward. That's, these people are supposedly being misled by the Red-Brown Alliance. People like, Susan Sarandon spoke there, the person who created one of the co-creators of the People's Party, forget their name. They were there speaking, but no, these people are being misled by the Red-Brown. So she's comparing people on the left, red communists, to Nazis, to white supremacists. So instead of, trying to get people to actually do what they want, so people have health care and aren't dying because they don't have it, she's comparing people who are fighting for that to get the politicians to do what they actually claim to do. She's comparing them as being Nazi collaborators. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. And again, it's not super surprising, but still, like, pretty revealing, right? Of course, Anna Kasparian, she's talking shit. And then, so nothing, of course, from TYT. So you can see the search, TYT March for Medicare for All rally. To Candace Owens, but nothing about this event. So nothing from TYT. Emma Vigeland of the Majority Report dunking on, trying to hold these politicians accountable to actually fight what they claim to be in favor of. And then nothing from Anna Kasparian, TYT, nothing from the Majority Report. David Pacman, another pseudo-leftist, because he is in fact, in favor of U.S. imperialism as well. Nothing from him, not surprising there. That's my channel. I did make a video on it, and I'm obviously talking about it now. I actually went to the event. DSA, just always willing to do the bidding for the Democratic Party and to run cover for them, at least on the national level. I will say on the local level, Seattle DSA was one of the organizers of the event that I attended. So, but nothing from, went back to the 21st on the DSA's Twitter, nothing about the March for Medicare for All. Again, like, think about if these organizations use it. Of course, nothing from Bausch, that imperialist trash. And then you have Sam Cedar retweeting this from Natalie Scher. No politician is above accountability, but there's zero strategic value in obsessively targeting one second-term rep whose support for MFRA is among most credible in Congress unless actual goal is to co-opt Medicare for all, monetize whatever friends you can, whip global YouTube fans into. Again, I think the point of going to AOC's office in New York was that, yes, she does claim to be a huge support of Medicare for all. She has a huge platform, 10 million fucking followers on Twitter. Not a peep about this. That's kind of problematic. It's important to call that out. It's important to try to hold politicians accountable. So I don't know what this Natalie person is thinking, but to me, there's a lot of strategic value in that. It's like, well, like, you claim to support Medicare for all. You're not even tweeting about it anymore in general. You're not tweeting about this event. So what exactly are you doing to try to pass it? You weren't in favor of force the vote to try to get it to the floor to see who actually supports it or not. And again, it's not just AOC. Bernie Sanders, Ilhan Omar, AOC, Pramila Jayapal did leave a recorded message that was played at the event I went to, but I looked on her social media. It didn't look like she was amplifying any of these events either. And these people have hundreds, if not millions, of followers on these different social media platforms. Just think, like, it was awesome. I was glad to be a part of it. There was, several hundred people there at the event I went to. Imagine if these people, these huge, massive platforms, these politicians, these, Democratic Party hacks, if they actually used, their YouTube channels, their social media platforms to advocate for these events, how many maybe more cities they would have been in, how many more people would have attended the events that were already, like, going on, like... But there's zero. Yes, it's not obsessively target. Again, like, it was a failure on, a large part of the, establishment Democrats to not highlight this more. Because, again, I haven't heard of anyone, talking it up, advertising it on their social media. And the only member of the squad or, so-called progressive member of Congress that attended one of these events, as far as I could tell, was... Cori Bush, congressperson from Missouri, right? And of course, obviously, CNN not covering it, Anna Kasparian, TYT not covering it, Cenk Uygur obviously not covering it either. Ilhan Omar, again, this is her, nothing on her page. What's another one I could search? But again, let's do Bernie. Here's his personal page, 15 fucking million followers. Okay, nothing. Back to the 24th, nothing. Okay. Again, just all these people, are great examples of how, social movements die within the Democratic Party. Let's see, AOC. Because I think she hasn't even, just in general, again, tweeted about Medicare for all in... why couldn't they at least mention it? I agree. Nina Turner looks like didn't either. So that was them protesting outside there. I don't know. I don't think it's too unreasonable. I don't think it's a red Brown Alliance, like, Jesus Christ, Emma Vigeland is trying to, like, how fucking deranged is that? Saying people who are trying to get, so-called progressives to actually fight for what they campaigned on, Medicare for all, during a fucking pandemic, no less. That's Red Brown Alliance. That's left working with fucking Nazis or white supremacists. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. Get a fucking grip. I mean, again, I don't know who else to search because nobody fucking talked about it. Of the, people who you think would try to broadcast it, given that it was happening in fucking 50 cities, communities across the United States, this coordinated day of action, to try to actually, push the envelope on this. Like Ruffalo, that's cool. And again, so I mean, Nina Turner, I feel like, seems like a pretty strong vocal voice on these issues, but I think, frankly, once she gets elected, she's going to get swallowed up by the machine like all of these people have done, either, intentionally or unintentionally. And, she's not even tweeting about this event, even though, she says she, is in favor of Medicare for all. So again, obviously, I hope she wins and defeats, the right-wing kind of corporate Democrat, going, against her in this race. But yeah, so I mean, nothing from Nina Turner, nothing from any member of the squad that I could tell. Let's look up Rashida Tlaib. Okay. Again, look, 1.4 million followers. Think about just the massive platforms. Bernie has 15 on here. AOC has 10. But again, just silence. And again, they're usually tweeting decent stuff for the most part, but amplify this event, for God's sakes, if you actually support Medicare for all. But again, I think, they're probably being whispered, like, no, don't do this. Then we might have to, actually, put in an effort or call out, Democratic leadership, Pelosi, Biden, Kamala, etc., because they're not, helping us get Medicare for all either. Nothing from Rashida Tlaib. Okay. So who, I mean, again, this would be kind of interesting, is Jacobin. People, Jacobin. I mean, I'm going to say they probably haven't, but let's see. Scabby the Rat. Let's see. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Nothing from Jacobin, it looks like, which again, I'm not super surprised. Yeah, so no, that is that show is really funny, Trailer Park Boys, if you haven't checked that out. Okay, nothing. Unless it was further back. Jesus, why do they just retweet like the same fucking four things like what the fuck is going on here? What the fuck? Why does this keep looping? Like that was some weird shit, right? What the fuck was going on? Alright. Like what the fuck, dude? I don't think I follow them on Twitter. I think I'd unfollow if I did, cause look at this. They're literally the same fucking. What the fuck? This thing broken? Nothing. Talking about stuff in Algeria, protests there. Which again is good, but just send out a quick little fucking tweet, a little story about this shit. Okay, nothing from any of these usual suspects, and if they talked about it at all, it was in a dismissive and derogatory way, like Emma Vigeland at, of the Majority Report, Anna Kasparian at TYT, Sam Cedar also dunking on it as well. So again, not super surprising that if they did talk about or cover this, it was in a derogatory, dismissive way, comparing the people, trying to hold these politicians accountable to actually, again, fight for the things that they claim they support. That somehow is a red-brown alliance. I mean, shut the fuck up, Emma Vigeland. Like, that is some ridiculous shit. What do you think? Yeah, that's what Sam Cedar tweeted. And again, not surprising, frankly, that they came at it this way. These people tend to always want to bend over backwards to make excuses for politicians not doing what they actually support, or not, trying to make them accountable to people. That's why, a lot of these same people, probably all of them, frankly, weren't in favor of force the vote, because it's actually, wielding political power in a, what would be a strategic and effective way, and they just don't like to do that. It's more of a go along to get along crowd, and wanting to, be able to curry favor, with these people. So, what do you think? Those are my thoughts. Leave yours down below about the failures of the synthetic pseudo left and their different media arms in talking about this March for Medicare for all events that took place, again, 50 plus cities across the US this past Saturday. Like the video if you like the damn video, subscribe for more content. Peace. Much